I asked my mother, what will I be? She said, I doubt if you'll turn out to be too good.
So what is your name?
My name is Margaret Ann Peterson.
Peterson?
Well, that was my maiden name. So I didn't change it much. It's still hard to spell.
And you were born when?
I was born July 5th, 1928. And that makes me a dud, because I didn't go off on the 4th.
That makes your parents a dud then.
My dad didn't want to stay home from the lake, I'm sure.
So tell us about your mom and dad.
I don't know much about my dad's reasoning for coming over here. He was just a man who liked to have adventure. And I think that's when he was 18 years old. He sailed on a ship as a cabin boy and came over here, and he must have liked it. And he went back home, and Valdy came, as I understand, Valdy came with him back here to live.
Who's Valdy?
Valdy's his brother.
Okay.
Don't you remember Valdy? No. Well, anyway, I don't know how they got here to Brookings, but I know that my dad was in Chicago on a motorcycle, and he got stuck between two buses, or what do you call them, that drive down in the Chicago area on the rails. So
Subway?
Yeah. That's a story. There's a lot of stories about my dad, because he had a good sense of humor. And,
What were those stories?
oh, ask Todd. He lately has heard all of them. Well, he went over to one lady's house. He was a painter. He is a good artist. His mother wanted him to stay home in Denmark and go to artist school, because he was talented that way. Instead, they were painters, you know. And so one lady asked him to come over. He got in the house. She wanted him to look and see what colors to paint. He said, "Okay, Carl, now let's go up to my bedroom." "Oh, no, lady, I just came here to paint." That's one story. I can't remember all of them, but they were good painters. They used the Catholic holy water to mix it in their paint. I know that. So,
Didn't he build a boat?
oh, yes. He built 3 or 4 boats. His first boat was the Mayflower, old Mayflower that we used out in Lake Camel, because Lake Oakwood was dry in those years. And we've got some pictures of it. Peggy probably has them all. And then he built a little skiffy boat that you could just put a motor on and just go like heck, just for fun. And then he built this cabin cruiser. And so that was his last boat, but it was a nice boat. He built it in the upstairs of we had a kind of a barn on 5th Street, and the upstairs was empty.
Mm-hmm.
It was a garage, really. And so he built that up there. And it had an opening cut out so you could open the door, but they had to cut it quite big to get. It was quite an event watching him get that boat out of that upstairs. And that was the last boat he built. But he was down the basement. Every night he went down the basement. We didn't have TV at that time. And he was either painting pictures, like that one over there.
Like this one?
Uh-huh.
The haystack?
The haystack. And he painted the lions.
And he painted this picture.
No, that,
Who painted that picture?
oh, I guess he did, but that's not the one. And that one, the sheep. He said, you know, when I paint here, I can't keep these sheep on the catalog. They keep running off. It's crazy. I think that's where I got my craziness from.
Who painted this one?
That's Hank.
And so Uncle Hank painted
Uh-huh.
by hand?
He did a good job.
Hmm. So then how did he do the taxidermy work?
People used to bring pheasants to him, and I don't know, I watched him a lot, but he skinned, cut them down the middle and took out the innards, and then he made a new body for him and put inside, and
Don't you have to have like a trade to learn how to do that?
he got a lesson book that he taught Milford. Remember Milford? He was up with arthritis so bad. He got it for him, but he wasn't interested, so my dad went into it, and he made all kinds of things. He had a collection of...
It was at the college, South Dakota State University,
Yeah, but
for
it was out
years.
His first one was out of Pierre, South Dakota, the capital. And then he had the next one was at South Dakota State College. But we went and got him.
But how did he get him there? So somehow he had to have him noticed. Do you remember?
I can't remember where they put him. I don't know.
Somebody had to notice them to want them to get to the college. Don't know. Because you know I have the eagle. At my house I have the eagle.
Do you? I'll keep him. I don't...
Do you remember the story about the eagle?
No.
Because it's illegal.
He hit a line. He hit a electric line, evidently, and killed him. That's what I've heard. That's all I know. And I used to go down and watch him. He'd have the eyes, you know, the eyes were different. The owls, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where. I suppose he bought him someplace, but he liked that stuff. He was always down in the basement at night working, painting or doing taxidermy.
And stuff. So how did he meet Grandma? In Chicago?
No. My grandma was born and raised in
Your mother.
Volga, and there's a Volga train track that ran all the way to the junction between Volga and Brookings. Well, Mother and a bunch of the gals used to walk out there just for something to do, I guess. Maybe it was to meet boys, I don't know, because that's where she met my dad. I don't know how the romance started or whatever, but that's where they first met.
Hmm.
They didn't tell me about anything else. So...
And then they had 3 kids, Carol,
Camilla, and last but not least, Margaret Ann. And if I hear that name again, I knew I was in trouble. Margaret Ann. Margaret Ann! And I heard a lot.
And so Carol was how many years older than you?
Carol was 8 years older, and I really don't remember her at home when I was little. I got to know Carol when we went to Arizona. And then we all got along really well. Camilla and Bud and Carol and Keith and Ken and I.
And you and Camilla did things together, though, didn't you, with Bud and Dad?
Not very often, I don't think. Well, down in Arizona we did, yeah.
Not even when you were young?
No, because they were busy running the Dairy Queen, and Dad was busy with his work, and we had kids. They had kids. You don't get to go out very much when you do that.
Yeah.
And we just stayed home with the kids most of the time. Ugly story, isn't it?
No, not at all. So we're going to take a break for now, and then we'll come back and talk about something else.